Hey everybody, Console Collector here. For today's video, I'm going to share with you my newest CRT pickup. I found the holy grail of consumer CRTs, the infamous Sony Trinitron 310. Yes, the KV27FV310. This CRT is regarded as the absolute best consumer television you can get for retro gaming. It's the best of the best standard definition CRT. It's absolutely perfect for all your 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, and even some 64-bit gaming systems. Whether you're playing some NES, some Super Nintendo, some Genesis, PS1, N64, or even a TurboGrafx 16, this really is the best CRT for those systems. I'm really excited, happy, and grateful that I was able to get one of these holy grail CRTs locally in my city. With that said, let's dive in and take a look on how I acquired this CRT. So I'm at work doing my usual Facebook Marketplace scrolling through on my lunch break, and I saw this ad come up. Sony Trinitron 22 by 16 inches, $100. I'm like, 22, they obviously don't know how to measure CRTs because that's not the actual size. What initially caught my attention was the little gray border around it on the CRT. Also, the good Trinitrons have the curved forward speakers on the sides, as well as the unique shape on the bottom. So after seeing the unique shape and the gray border around the screen, I thought, there's no way this is a 310, is it? I wasn't 100% sure because I'd never actually seen a 310 in person. I've only looked at pictures online, and I was interested. $100, that's more than I want to pay for any CRT, but I thought I'd message the guy and get some more information. I told myself if it is a 310, I will pay the $100. I had no problem with that. But I wanted to be sure before I went and met up with them and made a deal. So I messaged them asking for a photo of the back. So hopefully I can get the model number and see the connections and confirm that it's a 310. Lo and behold, it was a 310 and it was a 27-inch. I couldn't believe it. I know they make a bigger 310 as well, but the 27 is the one I really wanted just because I didn't want one that's too oversized. I thought the 27 was the perfect size. So here it was in front of me locally and for a reasonable price. So I told them I would take it. We messaged back and forth for a little bit, trying to set up a time and when I could pick it up. I knew if I didn't grab it right after work that it would be gone. If people found out that this was a 310 for that price, definitely would be scooped up. So we set up a time after work for me to come pick it up. Everything was good. A couple hours passed by and then I got this dreaded message. And these are the type of messages that we all hate to get, whether you're buying video games or CRTs. Anytime you're getting a good deal and you get a message like this, you immediately go into panic mode. So I read the message and he's basically explaining how he doesn't have the correct remote for it. He'll look around the house and he'll repost the TV after he finds the remote. My initial thought was, I don't care about the remote. I don't need that. I still want to get this CRT. Then it hit me. He must have been upbid because that happens a lot in my city. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. I always find these people come up with these bogus excuses about how they lost something or they decided not to sell or my brother wanted to keep it or something along those lines. So I thought that was the case here. It turns out that wasn't the case at all in this situation. I told him I would still take the TV. I had no problem with not having a remote. He comes back and says, you know what? You can have it for free. What? He lists the CRT for $100. Then he can't find the correct remote. And then he just says, take it for free? I thought I was dreaming. A 310 for free? Even after he said I could have it for free, I still offered him money. I wanted to give him something for this. And he refused. He would not take my money. I couldn't believe it. After a couple messages, he actually gave me the address, which I was panicking before because I didn't have the address. And, you know, when you don't have the address, you don't have that feeling of securing the item. So I had a time and a place, and as soon as I got off work, I headed over to his house. Because I've been burned and missed out on so many deals in my city, I still had my doubts that this would actually happen. It just seemed too good to be true, getting a free Sony Trinitron 310. I thought as I was driving there, you know, maybe he won't answer the door, maybe it's a bogus address, you know, I just had my doubts. I pulled up to his house, sent him a message, and he came out. This was really happening. So myself and my older son went down into his basement and saw this thing sitting there in all its glory. When I laid eyes on it, I couldn't believe the condition of it. It looked brand new. I asked him, like, has this ever been used? And he said, honestly, we only used it a few times a year, so it sat in our sitting room in the basement. It's virtually brand new, and it really was. So my son and I, we picked it up, lugged it out of his basement, threw it in our vehicle, and we actually chatted with the guy for a couple of minutes. He was really excited about me taking this TV. He was going on about how it was so good for the planet and how great it is that it's going to end up with me, who's going to appreciate it, instead of being in a landfill somewhere. He also spoke about how great movies looked on it. Him and his partner used to watch VHS movies on it, and everything just looked really great. So yeah, he was really happy to see this thing go to someone like me who is going to appreciate it. So we had it loaded up, and again, I tried to give him money. I offered him money. I brought money with me. I wanted to give him something for the CRT, just because it's such a great TV, and I felt he needed something. But he refused. He absolutely would not take it. I don't know if I had to throw it at him, but he wouldn't take it. This guy just didn't want my money. So in the end, yes, I did get the Sony Trinitron 310 for absolutely nothing. Fast forward and we're back in the game room with it. And just take a look at this thing. It is in amazing shape. It doesn't have any major dings, scratches, anything like that. Just some normal wear and tear and quite a bit of dust. But after a good wipe down, I think this thing's going to look like new. I know with a lot of these CRTs, you see scratches in the screens or a lot of wear and tear around buttons and stuff. But again, yeah, everything on this is just flawless. Even the backside, there is some dust in there, but it's nothing I can't handle. Take a look at the back of this thing. Look at all the connections. You got several RF inputs. You have 3 composite inputs, 2 component inputs, a video out, and S-video. Really, you just can't ask for anything more in a CRT. And to confirm, there it is, KV27FV310. I just can't get over how great this TV is and all these connections. I'm really excited to get it cleaned up and set up in my retro room. So before I put the 310 in my retro room, I'm actually pulling out my 32-inch Sony Trinitron 300. Now this is a great CRT as well, just not as good as the 310. Doesn't have the dual component, and it's a little bit bigger than I like. My good friend Phantom Link is coming over. He's going to help me haul this thing out to my garage, and we're going to put the 310 in its place. I'm not actually going to get rid of the 300. I'm just putting it in my garage for now because it is a great CRT. I just want to have the 310 in the game room instead of the 300. One piece of advice I have for anyone that has CRTs, before you go and lug this thing into place in your game room or your house, always test it first. So that's what I did. I hooked up a Super Nintendo and I did several tests. I played some Super Mario World, some Super Mario Kart, and everything works great. The sound is great, the picture is great. Absolutely no complaints with this thing. Everything works awesome. I say follow that advice because I actually made that mistake once. I lugged in a huge heavy XBR CRT a couple years ago into the retro room, got it all hooked up, and the sound didn't work. And the picture had some really bad geometry. So I ended up having to break my back and lug it back out of there and replace it with my current XBR I have in the retro room. So again, after a few tests, everything looks great. I can't just get over the beautiful picture on this CRT and the audio. Everything just looks so good. We got the 310 in the retro room now and set up. And the first game I had to test out with it was The Misadventures of Tron Bonne for the PlayStation 1. And oh boy, does it look great. Before I jumped hardcore into a game on the CRT, I wanted to check out the geometry, so I popped in my copy of Silent Hill on the PS1, and it has this really good grid here that I like to use on my CRTs, and the geometry is pretty much perfect. It's not 100% perfect. I see some slight curving in the top left and right corners, but it's so minor, even on this grid here, you can barely notice it. This is hands down one of the best geometries I've seen on a CRT that I picked up. I think this guy was serious when he said he only used it a few times a year because the geometry is really great, the color's great, the sound's great. This really does seem like a low-hour CRT. I picked up some pretty good CRTs in the past, and you can just tell when they're tired or they've seen a lot of use. And yeah, this one definitely looks like it has very minimal use. So after checking out the geometry, I popped in Tron Bonne again and started playing through it. And wow, what a great way for me to break in this CRT. I actually ended up beating the Misadventures of Tron Bonne on this new 310 CRT. The whole playthrough of the game was awesome. I have no complaints with the picture, the sound, the overall quality of this CRT. It really is a great CRT. So wrapping up this video with the end credits of the Misadventures of Tron Bonne, I just want to say how happy I am with this Sony Trinitron 310. I would have paid $100 for it all day long, but I somehow got so lucky and got it for free, and I really am thankful and grateful for this amazing CRT. This CRT, I have to say, lives up to the hype. I've heard a lot of great things about the 310 over the years, and I see why people love it, because it really is a great consumer CRT. With that said, I now officially own every CRT that I wanted to own. Yeah, I have no desire to get any more CRTs, unless one breaks, of course. So now I have the Holy Grail standard definition Sony Trinitron 310. I have my beloved 30-inch HD widescreen Trinitron 510, and I have the amazing 36-inch Sony XBR. So I really do have every consumer CRT that I've ever wanted. And of course, I still have other great CRTs like my childhood Hitachi CRT and my old school wood grain CRT for the classic VHS and 80s stuff like the Atari. But yeah, I really have my ultimate dream CRT collection now that I've added this 310 into the retro room. So that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to share my little adventure of getting this Holy Grail CRT with everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I know I had a lot of fun picking up this CRT, testing it, getting into the game room, and making this video and talking about it. Retro gaming for me goes beyond just collecting games and consoles. It's about having these awesome CRTs to enjoy them on. I highly recommend picking up a CRT if you're into retro gaming, because there's nothing quite like that original experience. Thanks again everyone for watching this CRT pickup video. I can't wait to play some more games on this Sony Trinitron 310. Alright, that's going to wrap up today's video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate it. You can follow me on social media. The information is on screen now and in the description below. I want to thank everybody for watching. I am the Console Collector, and until the next video, happy gaming.